All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin today's special meeting of the Phoenix City City Council. The purpose of today's meeting is to get presentations by individuals seeking an appointment to fill the seat on the City Council representing District 3 on an interim basis. I believe one more council member is on his way and will be here shortly, but we can go ahead and get started with the meeting. Councilwoman Pastor is appearing telephonically at today's meeting. Councilwoman Pastor, are you there? We have to call the roll. Do we have to call the roll?
Hello.
Okay, so Councilman Pastor is present, so I'll ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilman Nowakowski.
Here.
Councilwoman Pastor.
Here.
Councilman Valenzuela. Councilman Waring.
Here.
Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Gallego.
Here.
Mayor Stanton.
Here, so we do have a quorum present of the Phoenix City Council. Before I begin today's meeting, I just want to say to our city manager how much I appreciate the good work of Phoenix Police Department, Public Works, and Streets. Obviously, there was a tragedy in Orlando that we all found out about on Sunday morning, and we put together it turned out to be a very large vigil at the Phoenix Pride LGBT Center in the heart of our city. Probably turned out to be a lot larger than any of us were expecting at the beginning, and police did an incredibly good job of providing public safety protection for all of the residents that came to honor the victims and show solidarity here in our community. Public Works helped to put that event together, and Streets helped put it together because there were a lot of parking issues for the size of the venue. So I just wanted to really say thank you to you and your staff for helping to make a very what tried to be a large-scale visual on a short notice put together very, very well. I know all of our thoughts and prayers are still with the people of Orlando, the victims, their families, the city for such a tragedy just a couple days ago. The order of events today is going to be that we're going to hear presentations from individuals seeking the interim appointment. I do believe per the memo that was sent out from my office that we're going to offer the opportunity for applicants for the position to have up to 5 minutes to say anything they want to this council. We obviously got an application, a written application, which the applicants had an opportunity to answer questions submitted by members of the council. The order in which we're going to go in is alphabetical order of the applicants. After the applicants have had an opportunity to address this council, we have members of the public who are here to provide some testimony to this council regarding either the process or individual candidates. We'll take those cards after the applicants have had an opportunity to address the council, and then we'll see if there is a motion and a vote of this council. It should be noted that under our charter, if there is an applicant who successfully gets the number of votes necessary today, they will be sworn in immediately. They take office right away. So there will be a short but sweet swearing in ceremony in the mayor's office immediately preceding. So you'll be surrounded by people and friends and others who want to talk to you, but let's get as quickly as possible up to the mayor's office and get you officially sworn in, whoever that person may be, so you can begin your service to the people of District 3. Alternative members of the council, any questions regarding the order? You did receive the memo explaining that order. I just want to make sure that all members of the public who are here or watching on television had an opportunity to hear the order of things. Okay, with that, any other business we have to take care of, Mr. City Manager, in advance of beginning the presentations? Okay, with that, we'll move immediately into presentations by applicants for the interim District 3 council member position. The first person to speak, simply by order of alphabetical order, is John Altman. Mr. Altman, please come forward. Let's see, where are we going to have it? It's over here? Okay, I guess we're over to my right, your left, the opportunity to address this council for up to 5 minutes. Good to see you.
All right. Thank you. Mayor Stanton, council members, I am John Altman. As a parent of a high school student, I'm dedicated to making sure we have a great city, not just for my son's future, but for the future of all of our children who inherit what we craft. My promise is to serve only as the interim council member and not seek election, not side with any campaign. Almost a quarter century of my life has been spent in service to our nation. More than a dozen years have been spent on city council appointed committees and commission. I'm a native Phoenician, dedicated simply to help the mayor and council successfully navigate some rigorous public policy tasks in the coming months. I've resided more than 15 years in District 3. In years prior to that, attended high school and Arizona State University while living in the district. In 2007, I received 44% of the vote in the Council District 3 runoff election. Since my efforts before the voters, I have faithfully served on the city's Military Veterans Commission, now in my third term, and am the current co-chairman. In corporate America, I have served as the National Marketing Director for the nation's second largest ambulance firm. Prior to that, I was the Senior Operations Manager, overseeing the daily deployment of 500 EMTs, paramedics, and RNs on 71 ambulances across 4 Arizona counties. For the past 16 years, I've been a consultant to city and county governments on public safety systems. I've designed emergency medical systems in 4 states, consulted on long-term budgeting and revenue streams, and helped other communities become more successful in providing their services. In my Navy life, active in the reserve service, I was a senior enlisted leader at one point with 100 sailors under my leadership and responsibility. I served in positions of high trust in national intelligence and retired from the National Command Staff in the Navy intelligence community. I'm twice decorated for leadership of sailors and achieving mission at hand. In my veterans work, I'm serving my 4th term as a nationally elected officer of a major veterans organization. I'm the legislative affairs representative and registered volunteer lobbyist for one of those associations, and have, to my credit, in the last 4 years, successfully crafting and working 3 bills through the Arizona legislature, signed into law, benefiting Arizona veterans, their health care, and jobs. I've served in leadership positions in my faith community. I'm a licensed Arizona public educator, teacher, and I'm completing my master's in secondary education at Grand Canyon University. In 2015, the Secretary of the Navy appointed me to the Navy and Marine Corps Retiree Council, taking an annual recall to active duty for my retirement to meet in Washington, D.C. to provide advice to the Secretary, military leaders, and the Defense Department. I credit my root success to my basic communication skill, having originally worked as a daily newspaper reporter for the former Phoenix Gazette newspaper, with subsequent service and circulation marketing of the Arizona Republic and the Phoenix Gazette. Simply stated, I have made a promise that when I have made a promise to my nation, to my city, to my friends, I've kept that promise. I am dedicated to helping this council get through the next several months while the voters of District 3 decide who fills the term for the remaining time. I am about thoughtful public policy that helps move our city forward and do so responsibly. If my offer of public service makes sense and allows others to carry on, then I'm here to serve. As we say in the Navy, I am prepared to stand the watch, do so faithfully, knowing that some future date I will have a relief named by the voters and will turn over that watch to them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Altman, for applying for this very important position and your service to community and country. The second applicant who we'll be hearing from is Mr. Dan Carroll.
Thank you, Your Honor, Vice Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. You know me, and this is probably the only time I'm going to be able to get said what I need to get said in 5 minutes or less. I thought long and hard about what I want to present to you today. You've received resumes, you've received answers to your questions, you have received cover letters. And so I could speak to how our vision of Phoenix is shared, and your priorities are something that I can tie into. I hope that I've spoken to that in answering your questions. I can compare and contrast myself to the other fine candidates, but you can do that. I can speak about my background, but you've seen that. So what I'd like to talk to you about is we've known for almost 6 months that this was coming. And for those 6 months, I've spoken to folks like Sue and Jim, who are leaders in the Paradise Valley School District, and they've shared with me the importance of the 2006 bond election on how it helped them to do performing arts centers at Shadow Mountain High School, and how we can incorporate that into the vision for the 32nd Street corridor. The sciences and that was a big city investment at Paradise Valley High School. I met with Dan and John and their colleagues, their canine colleagues as well, from Arizona Search Dogs at an event at Snooze in, Scramble in Sunny Slope. And I don't know if you knew, I'm all about what we can do for our community. And what they're doing, when you go to Fry's and you have your little card, you can attach that to them. You're still going to get your benefits, but you can designate Arizona Search Dogs, and they do some really great things for us. Brett and Rich and Linda in the Moon Valley area have spoken to me about their concerns about adequate water, commercial revitalization, and neighborhood connectivity with bike paths and from Moon Valley to Sunny Slope and elsewhere. Bruce, Juanita, and Linda are very interested in making sure that we rejuvenate the Hatcher Road revitalization efforts, address homeless issues that affect Sunny Slope and, of course, our whole city. Also, things as simple as single-serve liquor sales that are impacting that area. They want to see, I collectively with them, us do something that combines the efforts of the North Mountain Business Alliance, the 32nd Street Corridor, Hatcher Road revitalization, and Cave Creek. I think we can do some great things in that community. Jerry, who is a block watcher in his personal neighborhood, but citywide as well, has spoken about the need for open space outside of the preserves, south of Shea and west of 32nd Street. Jackie, Mike, and Todd are interested in safe play equipment in their park. I think we can get that done within the next year. Marilyn and Toby embrace the beauty of our mountain preserves that touch on many of our districts. At the same time, as a former Parks Board member, it's also important that we recognize what sort of impact we're having on surrounding neighborhoods when we bring more people into the preserves, such as might happen with the Mountain Preserve Master Plan. Marilyn and Toby, I just spoke of. Christy and Louisa have gathered hundreds of neighbors together as volunteers in our community to fight a medical marijuana facility that is at the gateway to the 32nd Street corridor. I was in Superior Court with them last week, trying to help them with that effort. Joanne, David, and Doug have some flooding issues. I know that affects us everywhere. I used to work for the Flood Control District. There are some things we can do with the start of the next fiscal year to help them with some city-owned property that hasn't been taken care of in years. Mark and Rocky want me to collaborate with a number of you to strengthen our efforts against blight and drug abuse. I guess that really kind of sums up my efforts. There are many more that I could speak about. I love Phoenix. I don't think you're going to find anybody that loves Phoenix more than I do. They probably as much, and I think that's probably my time. So thank you so much. I would be honored to serve with you. I was going to say that I don't relish the decision you're making, but really I'd like to be there making it with you. So
Fair enough.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dan Carroll, for applying for this very important position and all of your service over many years to the people of the city of Phoenix. The third speaker applying for the position as interim city council member representing District 6 is Charles Hargrave. Mr. Hargrave.
Thank you very much. To Mayor Stanton and the members of the Phoenix City Council, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Charles Hargrave. I'm one of the candidates interested in filling the now vacant 3rd City Council district seat. My strong leadership, my passion and commitment to serve the people of Phoenix, and my council district, my experience working with law enforcement, my knowledge of socioeconomic issues in communities of color, my experience involvement in city government and local politics, and my experience in creating employment opportunities for ex-offenders are my strongest qualifications for this now vacant city council seat. As the city council member representing the 3rd Council District, my goals are to first, make sure the residents of Phoenix and the 3rd Council District feel safe and secure as they live their daily lives, by hiring more police officers to provide more law enforcement in areas that are undermanned and areas where crime rates are higher. Also making sure officers have all the resources they need to protect and serve. Second, employment. The jobs of the 21st century are in biotechnologies and finance. Employers are now seeking skilled workers, and the City of Phoenix can be a pioneer in creating vocational training programs with program input from employers in the areas of the sciences, technology, math, engineering, and finance. Also creating entrepreneurship programs, that teach people how to start their own businesses, how to write a successful business plan, how to market your product or service, and how to partner with the City of Phoenix and financial institutions for startup funding. The fastest way to create wealth in America today for yourself is through home ownership or starting your own business. Third, education. Preparing our students for the jobs of the 21st century by creating after-school programs where high school students are paid to take programs such as engineering, technology, science, and finance. Smart students make a smart population, which will bring more companies to Phoenix. Fourth, making Phoenix a world-class city and sports capital of America by the first ever Grand Prix race downtown Phoenix. More professional soccer events featuring top professional teams from Europe and Central and South America, and one day hosting the Summer Olympics. In closing, I am confident that my experience, knowledge, involvement in the political process, my experiences as a candidate for public office, my knowledge, understanding of city government and local city politics, my support and work with law enforcement, my work in communities of color, and my ability to build relationships and alliances with community groups, employers, city officials, politicians, city stakeholders, and people of varied cultures and backgrounds to be a valuable asset to the City of Phoenix, the City Council, and the residents of Council District 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hargrave, again, for applying for this very important position and your long resume of service to this community. The fourth speaker we're going to hear from today, applying for this important interim position, is Mr. Jack Lunsford.
Mayor and Council, good afternoon, and thank you to our City Manager, Ed Zerker, and the outstanding staff of the City of Phoenix, our neighbors, my family, and friends. For the record, my name is Jack Lunsford, a 26-and-a-half-year resident of City Council District 3 and a native of Phoenix. I am honored and humbled to receive encouragement to seek this important appointment to fill the City Council vacancy created by former Councilman Bill Gates' resignation. Bill has done an outstanding job representing District 3, and I look forward to carrying on both his reputation for constituent service and agenda. Council members, I do not take my candidacy lightly, as I am not seeking a council seat simply to fill a vacancy, or worse yet, to pad my resume. I seek this appointment to help with the foundational work laid by Councilman Gates. I seek this appointment to serve as the District 3 representative that constituents can call upon with confidence. I seek the appointment to work collaboratively with the council, to find consensus, to solve issues, and to guide our great city until the voters select a permanent replacement for Bill. And I am not a candidate for election. Not being a candidate will allow me the freedom to represent District 3 unencumbered by a campaign. And not being a candidate will afford me the opportunity to better focus on council business and constituent needs. Since you all know me, and I know and respect all of you, and you know my record and have seen my written materials, let me share with you what I stand for and will represent for the citizens of District 3 in the city of Phoenix. Innovation in government, seeking more and better ways for the city to be efficient, yet still delivering full service to our constituents. A stable, balanced budget that preserves city services, puts more police officers in the field, gives our officers the cameras and other resources necessary to do their jobs and to protect us, and to protect the city's bond rating. Moving the Hatcher Road overlay district forward. Continued development of the 32nd Street corridor, for which I have often supported Councilman Gates. And support for small businesses, where I will use my role as Vice Chair of the Arizona Small Business Association to help the economic development driver of business in our city to grow and prosper. What I offer the council is a nonpartisan consensus candidate for the interim appointment. I bring to you a very successful and long-standing record as a convener, a collaborator, and a consensus builder who can work with the council on behalf of the citizens. Moreover, I bring integrity, leadership, commitment, whether it's being trusted as a chosen member, chosen by the Coconino County Board of Supervisors as a 26-year-old appointee to restore credibility to the county assessor's office and therefore the county itself, and to restore fair and equitable property valuation to the county's taxpayers. Being selected to return to Westmark as CEO 15 years after co-founding the West Valley's leading advocacy group and positioning it as one of the state's big nine political advocacy groups, where it was recognized as a policy leader in transportation, protection of Luke Air Force Base, and education. Or being called upon by the Maricopa Community Colleges to establish an Office of Government Relations and eventually External Affairs, becoming nationally recognized and awarded as one of the leading regional higher education advocacy organizations in the country. Where we leverage support from the Greater Phoenix Chamber of Commerce and others in the business community, and where we created community outreach unmatched to this day. Or being recognized by the Phoenix Business Journal as one of the Valley's 50 most powerful people and one of its most admired CEOs and one of the West Valley's original 24 movers and shakers, and being named as a congressional fellow for Senator DeConcini. Mayor and Council, these examples tie my goals together with my qualifications, and they exemplify why I am a nonpartisan, highly qualified consensus candidate for the appointment to the District 3 Council seat, unencumbered by a campaign that could distract others from the focus of representation. Let's let the District 3 voters decide and who should permanently fill the seat. And I thank you for the opportunity to share my goals for the district with you, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lunsford, again, for applying for this very important position and your incredible resume of service to this community. The fifth speaker before this council on this important issue of the interim appointment is Mr. Jim Mapstead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for the opportunity to speak with you about my interest in being appointed to fill Councilman Gates' seat. I know that there are several deserving candidates here today with relationships to members on this council, and this is a difficult decision for you. The council member you appoint today will need to focus on growing our economy and continuing to make the Phoenix a city that attracts and keeps new businesses, bold entrepreneurs, and skilled workforce. This new member must make sure our budget is structurally balanced, that we're working toward regaining our AAA bond rating, and that the city is keeping its commitments to resource services and staff salary levels that were sacrificed in order for us to make it during lean times. This next council member must work with each and every one of you in a productive way. And I want each of you to know that I am committed to this endeavor, whether or not I am chosen today. I have a long history of involvement in this district and this city, have an organized campaign, have already raised over $100,000 toward this November election. My wife, Jill, who's the current board chair of the YWCA, and I have demonstrated our commitment to this campaign by investing $12,500. As a businessman, I have balanced budgets, created jobs, and worked with talented staff for most of my life. I work in both cooperative and adversarial situations with civility and respect, and I work hard to be knowledgeable about the issues I confront. I'm ready for this challenge, and I don't need on-the-job training. My experience has prepared me for this day and for this election. I'm connected to this district, not only as my residence and the business I bought 25 years ago in District 3, but I'm also connected by passion. The most rewarding part of serving on the Paradise Valley Village Planning Committee is knowing the work I do strengthens my community and improves quality of life for so many friends and my neighbors. The same is true for my time as president of the Sunny Slope Village Alliance, as a member of the City Planning Commission, a member of the boards of Big Brothers Big Sisters, the Herberger Theater Center, and as in my past role as board chair of Local First Arizona. Now, I have two perfect daughters, Jessie and Leah. Jessie's getting married next year. Leah, my 22-year-old, was diagnosed when she was 3 with a disability known as Prader-Willi syndrome. As a result, she's been one of the great teachers of my life. Through her, I've learned how to weather adversity and savor triumphs. But most of all, I've learned how precious, fragile, strengthening, warm, uplifting, and important family can be. As I was preparing to run for this office, I re-registered as an independent. I've never been a partisan, and Phoenix issues shouldn't be partisan. There's no Republican or Democratic way to fix a pothole or pick up trash or deliver water. There's only a Phoenix way. So between the cover letter, my resume, the written answers I submitted earlier in today's statement, I've shared a lot about myself and my thinking. And I've described qualities I believe will serve me well on the council. But I believe they will also serve you and the city well. I don't come before you with a political agenda or my votes predetermined. I'm happy with my business and my life, and I have no interest in seeking higher office. And if these are qualities you'd like to see in the person who works and sits beside you until the special election, then I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mapstead, for applying for this position, and also your long history of service to District 3 and to the people of this community. The next applicant to appear before the council for a 5-minute statement is Ms. Deborah Stark.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for this opportunity to speak before you today. I'm honored to seek the council seat for District 3 in Phoenix. My entire career has been in public service. If selected, the seat would be the pinnacle of that service. Before I go any further, I want to thank Councilman Gates as he moves on to a new chapter in public service. His commitment to the district has been outstanding. I hope to live up to the great work he's done. To that end, his work along 32nd Street has been significant, and I will continue to implement the work. I would also like to replicate that work along other major streets in District 3, such as 19th Avenue and Cave Creek Road. The curb appeal of a street can make a difference and can promote economic development and pedestrian safety. I have lived in the same area for 30 years, and the district has many strong neighborhoods. I think of my part of the city as being middle-aged. Large portions of the district were developed in the 60s and the 70s. Many of the neighborhoods are surrounded by commercial centers. Over the last 10 years, there's been a glut of vacant commercial uses. Some of these centers are becoming blighted and vandalized. I know that the city has a very progressive infill adaptive reuse program. I would like to aggressively promote this program in District 3. We need to find tenants for these centers and explore strategies for reuse of these, such as what we see on 32nd Street with the Alice Cooper's The Rock, which was once a commercial use, or even my doctor's office on 7th Street, which was once a bank. I've had a great opportunity to meet with residents, and we support our first responders and are grateful for the wonderful libraries, parks, and community centers and the preserve that are within the district. As the city implements the funds from Prop 104 that passed last year, we in District 3 want to make sure we get our fair share. Many hope to see the city develop a more comprehensive Complete Streets program with the Prop 104 funds. We appreciate and support the good work that city staff does. Paradise Valley Mall is an important component to the district. It includes a regional transit center and a wonderful library. I want to work with the owners of the mall to ensure the mall continues to thrive and even improves itself. So much of the surrounding area includes office development that provides a great transition to the many established neighborhoods. It's vital that we protect this regional center. Sunny Slope is also an important part of the district. It is such a special part of the city. It is home to many long-standing small businesses, families, and John C. Lincoln Hospital. I've had the opportunity to sit down with the members of Honor Health, and they are committed to Sunny Slope. They have plans to make their hospital into a more pedestrian campus setting. I want to work with them to achieve that goal. Their proposal can add a great sense of community in Sunny Slope. Moon Valley is another great part of the district, full of great neighbors, many that I call my friends. I know there are some issues surrounding the golf course and water. I think my background gives me the unique position to seek solutions to help Moon Valley and their community. Residents have said they want someone that can assist them with City Hall and help them navigate the various departments. I know I can do that given my past. I'm very open to simplifying processes when possible, but never impacting public safety. Overall, I want to continue to enhance the quality of life we all enjoy in this great city. And finally, I want to talk about my priorities as a new council member. They're simple but incredibly important. Promoting economic development while ensuring fiscal accountability, serving the constituents of the city, in particular District 3, streamlining regulations for our residents and businesses while not compromising public safety. And finally, a little bit about me personally. My husband Brian and I have been married for 29 years. We are the parents of 2 adult children who reside in the valley. We love them dearly. Thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for this honor. I appreciate your time, and I ask for your support for my application as the interim council member for District 3. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stark, for applying for this important position. It's good to see you back on the right side of Jefferson Road. The next speaker appearing before this council applying for the interim District 3 council position is Ms. Charlene Tarver.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to be here today. And for those of you who know me, you know that I have a long-standing commitment to service and a long-standing commitment to serving Phoenix. Once a haven for tuberculosis sanitariums, a meth capital of the United States, and a skinhead stronghold, Sunny Slope is a Phoenix community with a colorful history. Today, our population exceeds 51,000 and is culturally diverse with multiple ethnicities and socioeconomic groups. Sunny Slope boasts easy access to downtown Phoenix, is centrally located to shopping and dining, a beautiful mountain preserve, great views, and an amazingly interesting and eclectic collection of residents. But even with all of its rich history and culture, there are some serious challenges facing the Sunny Slope community. Those challenges include blight, abandoned, dilapidated lots and buildings, high percentages of underserved veterans and homeless populations, limited community services, lagging economic and workforce training and development for our residents and youth, and an assortment of stray animals. I will not take the time of the council to share with you my academic background. I would briefly say that I hold an LLM in tax from Georgetown University School of Law, that I am a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar, and that clearly I have the academic tax legal and business acumen to serve on the city council and to weigh very difficult topics of consideration before the council. That is not why I'm here today. I'm here today because I am a servant leader. I'm here today not for a title or for political gain, but because I believe that District 3 needs governance. As the city is going through a very difficult time, the residents of District 3 deserve to have a voice on this council that is not posturing for political purposes, that can take on the difficult challenge of body-worn cameras and of the property tax increase and make a reasoned, rational decision that is in the best interest of not only Sunny Slope, but the entire district. And for those of you who do not know, District 3 is a district where we have some of the poorest of the poor living alongside some of the most abundance in this city. Our district deserves to have representation. I am here as an interim candidate only, which means I have not filed to run for the office. I am here solely as a placeholder, because I care about the governance and not the campaign politics. I care about seeing the community where I'm raising my twin daughters as a single mom have summer and youth programming, viable jobs, community services and resources, thriving businesses, and a strong, healthy economic agenda. Serving as the interim placeholder allows me to make decisions about the city budget, community residents, the community, collective bargaining agreements, and again, to not be overshadowed by how that will affect my campaign. Appointing me the interim council person allows the district voters and stakeholders to evaluate the candidates and make an educated, informed decision about who can best serve the unique and varied needs of District 3. In terms of my short-term list of accomplishments, I will not go through those because you've had an opportunity to take a look at those, but I will say that my service to the city of Phoenix has included the Pension Reform Task Force, Parks and Rec Board, Industrial Development Authorities Board, the African American Advisory Board for District 8, and I am soon to be the first ever Democratic Committee Precinct person for Legislative District 20, the Bluebird Precinct. I have a 13-year demonstrated commitment to serving the Phoenix community and speaking on behalf of and ensuring equity for the representation and inclusion of all people. My vision for Sunny Slope in the city of Phoenix is greater job opportunities, thriving businesses, access and knowledge about and to community amenities and resident engagement. This can be accomplished through robust dialogue with residents, civic leaders, and businesses, strategic partnerships focused on local hiring, workforce development, and utilization of local small businesses. My top 3 priorities for the Sunny Slope community and the city include strengthening incomes and stabilizing community through job training, workforce development, and growing small businesses. I would like to ask humbly for the city council and mayor to support my petition to serve as the interim appointee to the city council in representation of District 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tarver. An incredible level of service there representing the citizens of the city of Phoenix. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for applying for this important position. The next applicant who is wishing to speak for this council, applying for the interim District 3 council member position, is former city council member Craig Tripkin.
Mayor Stanton, city council members. First, let me thank you for this opportunity to tell you what I believe in and what I believe the job of councilman for District 3 should look like. I hope that my words, no matter the outcome of today's vote, will ring true to you and to whoever that you select. I can hit the street at a full run. My old city council district included much of what is now District 3 and Sunny Slope, including Sunny Slope and North Central. I believe that a united city council is a stronger council. It leads to better governance and more public support. I believe strongly in the collective wisdom of the council on which I will serve. If several of my colleagues feel a particular way that is different from how I feel on a particular issue, it is incumbent on me to consider the possibility that I may be wrong. I was an early leader of the neighborhood movement in Phoenix, and my campaign slogan for several elections was "Protect Our Neighborhood." I led the charge to create the Steele Indian School Park to the extent that the notoriously tough Tom Fitzpatrick wrote in the New Times, quote, "In the beginning, Craig Tripkin was like a hapless Gary Cooper trying to round up a posse in high noon." I am an unequivocal supporter and will vote for the city manager's proposed budget. Although, as I stated in my application, I am open to other permanent, partial, alternative revenue sources. Year after year, drastic cuts have been made and have been proposed to vital city services that improve dramatically the quality of life in our neighborhoods. I believe that this budget, with a floating tax rate and the restoration of some cuts made in the past to city services, is the right approach. I believe that representing a city council district is much like tending your personal yard at your personal residence. There are big things to do, and there are small but very important things to do. Among the big things are executing the Hatcher Street overlay, 32nd Street plan, the Metro Center plan. I'm sorry, and plans to make sure there are necessary levels of public safety, removing blighted properties, and protecting neighborhoods. Regarding blighted properties, every single city council district has apartment complexes that are drug-ridden and magnets for criminal activity. I will be an unequivocal vote to proactively use every resource the city has to remove slum conditions and enforce zoning and public nuisance laws against these properties. Occasionally, there is a tendency to not proactively enforce some zoning laws and to deploy other critical city resources, leading to a complaint-driven enforcement policy. It is axiomatic that any neighborhood with problems will drift to the lowest common denominator if complaint-driven and prevailing conditions are used as an enforcement prioritization in city policies. I chaired the first city anti-graffiti task force, which proactively forced property owners to remove graffiti. I believe that this policy has since been partially rescinded, but I believe it's a good policy. With regard to streets, too often city streets are sewers for cars and not arteries for a robust community. In my term on the City Council, I was a strong and successful advocate for retrofitting existing, already built-out city streets to modern development standards, with things like setback sidewalks, fewer or narrower traffic lanes where appropriate, and more landscaping, things that are now characterized by the term complete streets. I can point to many examples throughout the city, throughout the district, where we have had success in turning around entire neighborhoods because of this attention to major streets. As a council member, I completed these projects on parts of Dunlap Road in Sunny Slope, 7th Avenue in the Melrose District, Indian School Road, 15th Avenue in Sunny Slope, 12th Street, and many other areas, usually impacting surrounding neighborhoods in a very positive way. To continue with the metaphor of treating the district as you would your own yard, there are equally important things that impact smaller portions of the district, but are critical to the quality of life in a particular neighborhood. These specific things may include traffic calming, aggressive zoning enforcement against a specific property, installation of streetlights, installation of speed humps, better striping of streets, bicycle paths, and better engineering of specific intersections, fixing drainage problems, even fixing potholes. There are many specific tools at the disposal of the city. These small but important things are often the difference between a strong neighborhood and a declining neighborhood. Finally, a word about homelessness, a problem which I believe is going to get worse throughout the region. The City Council has already been a regional leader in addressing homelessness. Homelessness is a regional problem and demands regional solutions. The Council can exhibit leadership to regionalize the solutions to homelessness through advocacy with our surrounding cities, the county, and the state. I would ask each of you to join me in meeting with city managers and elected officials of other cities in the state to lobby for regional support. These regional solutions should include other cities' financial contributions as well as physically siting facilities to address homelessness. Other cities' commitments need to include housing, emergency shelter, and financial support, and permanent supportive housing. There are many facets to being a successful council member, and I believe that I have the experience and qualifications to be a successful member of this body. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilman Tripkin, for applying for the District 3 interim position, and again, your long service to the citizens of Phoenix. The final applicant for the District 3 interim city council position is Ms. Ann Wallach.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilman, and Phoenix residents. Phoenix is a city filled with incredible opportunity. To live up to our promise, we need strong and selfless leadership on the council. And with these thoughts in mind, I ask you to appoint me to join you on the council so we can continue to move Phoenix forward, to move your work forward in a way that befits our status as the 6th largest city in the country. I've been blessed to call Phoenix home for more than 3 decades. My husband Rob and I raised our 2 sons here. We started 2 family-owned businesses in town, Runner's Den on 16th Street and Race Place Events. We've managed many national and local events, including the Komen Phoenix Race for the Cure and Pat's Run, the Tempe event that honors Pat Tillman and which supports scholarships for military veterans and spouses. I believe that my experience as a small business owner will bring a valuable perspective to the City Council. I've also been an active community volunteer. I've done everything from serving on the school parent council to chairing the Fiesta Bowl committee when it hosted the very first BCS National Championship. All of these activities have taught me that good communication is vital to the success of any large endeavor, and certainly running a campaign in the city of Phoenix and serving all of the citizens of District 3 qualify as a large endeavor. I know that acting as an effective liaison between City Hall and Phoenix residents is essential. I will listen to and work collaboratively with all of you and our city staff, but most importantly with our District 3 neighbors, businesses, and community groups. Our residents expect that city services will work. We want our trash collected, we want the water to come on when we turn on the faucet, and we want our first responders to come when we call. But this doesn't happen by accident. It happens because all of you, together with the city manager and city staff, have planned ahead and worked hard to make sure that resources are distributed equitably and fairly across the city. I think that that is so important. Every district deserves its fair share. Also, I think public safety should remain our highest priority. When talking with District 3 residents, it's evident that they are concerned about crime and safety. I support your decision to hire additional police officers. And we should also work to make sure that there is a stronger relationship between the officers and everyone in our community. I know that we can create new opportunities by lifting up our small businesses. As a small business owner myself, I will advocate for city policies that support existing local businesses while encouraging entrepreneurs to start new businesses. I believe we can responsibly develop our city while addressing neighborhood concerns. To do that, I will proactively seek input from local communities, from the neighborhoods, from businesses, and neighborhood associations. We need to make smart choices that work for everyone. You have my pledge that I will listen, I will be a voice for District 3, and that I will work very hard to make sure our city is a great place for everyone to live and work. Many of you on the council know that when I make a promise, I keep it. When I make a commitment, I work hard and I follow through. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wallach, for applying for this very important position, and as with so many other candidates, your long record of service to this community. As I stated at the beginning, after the applicants each had an opportunity for up to 5 minutes of testimony for this council, I would turn to members of the community to see if they had any comments they'd like to give to this council. If you haven't had a chance to submit a card yet, now's the time to do so if you'd like to appear before this council and provide up to 2 minutes of comments regarding either the process, one or more of the individual candidates. I don't see his card in here, so I'll just take the opportunity to acknowledge that former council member and Vice Mayor Calvin Good is with us here today. Thank you. Good to see you, Vice Mayor Good. We appreciate all your service to the city of Phoenix for so many years. And I guess I don't see a card either, but former council member Michael Johnson, who represented District 8 for so long, is also here. For both of you, fill out a card or not. If you want to come down and speak, just come before the microphone after we hear the card. So both, good to see both of you. All right, the first member of the public to provide testimony before this council, Heather Garbarino. Ms. Garbarino, would you just provide testimony?
Good afternoon, members of the council. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Deb Stark. I've been a resident of my address in Council District 3 for 13 years now. And throughout that time, I've also been acquainted with Deb. She was the exiting planning director as I became an incoming beginning planner, a baby planner. And as a professional, a young professional, Deb was always the first to mentor a duckling, never making us feel less or different. And I think that really, to me, speaks to Deb's character in general. She's a planning giant. For those of you who don't know her background, she is revered around our community and yet will come alongside any person, young planner, looking for help or just take interest. So I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But Deb also is a valuable member of our District 3 community, always appearing. We run into her, my family does, getting our hair done or at Target. We see her around. She lives there. She's taking public transit. She has raised her children there. She knows truly what's happening, and not with the gloss of driving down 7th Street, but by actually integrating into our district. So I just wanted to put my support behind Deb and truly hope that you can see the value that she will bring to the council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garbarino, for that important testimony. Next will be Joel McCabe. Up to 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Joel McCabe. I live at 717 West Glen Drive in Phoenix. I've known Deb Stark for 26 years, first working with her back in Maricopa County back in 1990, and then remaining as a friend ever since then. What I did learn from Deb early on, besides her love for planning, is her love for the city of Phoenix and wanting to make a difference for those that live, work, and play in Phoenix. She's been committed to that as long as I've known her and for her entire career. I've worked with her, as I mentioned, as a coworker and as a client on the other side, as she was planning director with the city of Phoenix. And what I appreciate about Deb is her working style, her ability to understand the issues that are before her and then work collaboratively with everyone to come up what's best for the city. As a professional planner her entire career, Deb understands developing a vision. But not only the development of a vision, she further knows how to implement that vision and put it in place for a clear, defined process. Having worked with several local government entities, Deb will continue to advocate for ways to provide responsive government, promoting economic development and job growth. She offers this unique perspective as overseeing 3 planning departments for 3 jurisdictions and knows ways to find and make the process easier for residents and businesses. I believe and know that she will continue to find ways to cut spending. She's a problem solver and has worked hard to make a positive contribution to the community she cares very deeply about. I'm excited for Deb, but more for the residents of District 3 and the city of Phoenix for the possibility as Deb is our council person. She works tirelessly for the community, and I know she'll do what's best for the community. I ask you to please recommend support for Deb Stark for District 3 City Council.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCabe, for that testimony. Next speaker will be John David Herman.
Mayor and Council, for 35 years, my wife and I have lived at 1202 West Hayward Avenue in what is now City District 3. I support Ann Wallach for the City Council. I've known and worked with her for years. I know that she'll represent our neighborhoods and be an advocate for delivering efficient city services, lifting up small businesses, and addressing neighborhood concerns. I'll tell you, with Ann on board, this will be the first time that we will be truly represented by the mayor, by a member of the City Council. Please vote for Ann Wallach for the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Herman. Next speaker will be Brent Kleinman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. We've listened to many qualified candidates speak today, and I can only imagine the difficult decision you all are going to have to make. I've been fortunate to know Dan Carroll for many years, and his love for Phoenix has inspired and motivated myself and others, watching all he does to give to the city and give to people. I realize that some of the candidates today have come up and said they have no desire to run for this position again in November, and that may be the easy way for the council to lean that way and say, let's take someone who just wants to fill this seat until the next election, let the people of District 3 make that decision. I feel the council has to go beyond that and look and say, okay, what is the best for District 3? And I admire Dan Carroll, and I believe he is the person that will make the tough decisions. Phoenix is a nonpartisan city. We have thrived on that, and we keep the D's and the R's off the ballots, off the names. It's not on screens when people talk. It doesn't say Mayor Stanton, Democrat, Councilman Waring, Republican, or anything like that. We just are council members, mayors, members of this city. And I believe in my heart Dan Carroll will follow that and look at it and make the decisions based on what's best for the city of Phoenix, not what a political viewpoint necessarily says. He has done that all of his adult life, and I believe he will continue to do that as a council member in District 3. So I please urge the council members to select Dan Carroll as the interim council member for District 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brent. Appreciate your testimony. The next speaker will be Brett Aldieri.
City Council, good afternoon. My name is Brett Aldieri, longtime resident of City of Phoenix. Actually, somewhat a short-time resident of District 3, but I am on the North Mountain Village Planning Committee. I serve on the City of Phoenix Citizens Transportation Commission, and I also lead the Moon Valley Neighborhood Association, a community of 1,600 homes. I'd like to first publicly thank Bill Gates for his service on the council. I think he set a high bar for service in representing our district, and so the next candidate I think's got a lot of work to do to meet that goal, that level. I think all the candidates spoke really well today, had good thoughts about our district. Only one of them have I seen really visible in my community, at least where I attend, and that's Dan Carroll. I saw Dan at Village Planning meeting. He came to a neighborhood association meeting where we had a community involvement meeting around speeding in our neighborhood. He's attended Coffee with the Cop. He's out there talking to people every day. And so, he's really engaged in the community. And I really see him as somebody who puts the community first ahead of politics or political ideology. And I think that's key for a city council member. So I would urge the council to support Dan Carroll for the position. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aldieri. The next speaker will be Onismus Strawn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, for this great opportunity to speak on behalf of Charlene Tarver. I don't have anything prepared. I just found out about this yesterday, and I felt it was important enough to be down here for you to get an authentic reference in regards to Charlene Tarver, the type of work she is and the character that she possessed. Really briefly, I've been around leadership and administration for a very long time, starting as a student athlete, scholarship athlete at the University of Arizona, and then a finance administration for the vice president of research there, as well as assistant director for the School of Earth and Space here at ASU. So I have the ability to identify quality people and quality leaders. What she possessed really truly is the ability and the strength and the passion to serve. And that's what makes her a great leader. And I know quite a few of you have already met her, have seen her work here in the Valley. We met when I was treasurer for the Black Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. And I just observed people to try and get a strength of their value and their worth. And she was never wavering in her attendance, her support of the effort and the mission of that group to try and grow black businesses here for the city of Phoenix. In addition, I watched her carve her own way in establishing her business, Charlene Tarver Law Firm, and has done very, very well in the past recent years in establishing that, as well as her civic duty in launching the 100 Black Women and bringing the chapter here to Arizona. They've laid tremendous groundwork in the city of Phoenix in having representation on all sides of the fence and advocating in the areas of business, entrepreneurship, education, collegiality, infrastructure, community, underprivileged as well as privileged folks. So as you go forward considering your candidate for this period of time, I know she didn't present herself as a permanent candidate, but truly she is a servant leader and would do well as a city council member. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Strong, for taking the time to come down here and provide that very important testimony. The next speaker will be Fatima Halim.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I also wasn't prepared to say anything, but I am happy to have this opportunity to support Charlene Tarver. She is absolutely a woman of integrity, and she has shown compassion for people, great leadership skills, and she is a person who will get the job done. It doesn't hurt to have a brilliant legal mind on board as well. I highly support her, and I hope that you make the decision. And I also speak to my brothers and sisters from District 3. She's an incredible leader, and I know that you will be pleased with the work she will do on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Halim. Jeannie Lunn.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I am very proud to say that I am represented on this council by Jim Waring. However, for years my mother lived in District 3. She worked for then Councilwoman Bilstein, and she got that job in constituency services by being the constituent who complained the most. So she had to be part of the solution. And I rise to support and urge you to vote for Charlene Tarver. I have had the opportunity to work with her, and I go to her for advice, and she's just so very thoughtful and meticulous and can bring so much to this short term and be a complement to this council. And I see it as a win-win for everyone, especially for the District 3 who, unfortunately my mother is no longer here with us, but I know there are more people like my mother and they need someone that they can call and get things done.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lunn. I have no other cards. Did anyone else who is here wish to speak on behalf of any of the individual candidates or speak about the process itself? Okay. And I'll just say before we turn over to individual council member for a motion on a particular candidate, again, if someone receives the necessary number of votes today, there will be a very short swearing-in ceremony immediately hereafter in my office, the mayor's office, because the person under our city charter takes the position immediately. Before I turn to a council member for a motion, I want to turn it over to Councilman Waring. He has some thoughts about the process, how we select council members. I thought it would be appropriate before we have any particular person on the table, if you will, to allow Councilman Waring to give his thoughts about the process. So, Councilman Waring.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that very much. It's a little bit of an awkward process, given that we're picking our own colleague. That's not the way it's done at the legislature or other governmental bodies that I'm aware of. One thing that troubles me a little bit is that there are roughly 200,000 residents of District 3, and none of them are going to be voting for this person, whoever it is today, which is just, to me, again, a little awkward. Maybe there's no other better way to do it, but I would ask the city manager if there is a way, if it's possible for the council to at least look at the way this process is done, because it comes up a lot. It Councilman DeCiccio is an appointee, at least this tenure on the council. Councilman Gates was an appointee. Mayor, at one time, I believe you were an appointee. Felder Williams was an appointee. I ran against an appointee. So again, it seems like there is enough turnover over the life of these council tenures that this comes up a fair amount. I think there's been, a lot of behind the scenes back and forth about who should be picked and so forth. I'd be more comfortable at the very least if we were picking someone who wasn't running, simply because then it at least lets everybody kind of have an even chance at it in the election. I know, again, and I become friends with the fellow I ran against. I really like him. He was a great choice. But it does give a big advantage, too, to whoever that person is. And that person's going to be there, most likely, given the number of people who said today that they were going to run in the election. It's probably going to be hard for anybody to get 50% in November. So this person will be there for 9 months. They'll be voting on the tax increase in a couple weeks on July 1st. Et cetera. So it is a big deal. It's just something that I would like addressed. It's always kind of bothered me. I did mention it at one of their council meeting a few years ago. I can't remember what the context was, but it's just a little bit strange that nobody in District 3, the only way there could be someone from District 3 is if the mayor, which I don't think is the case in this case, but happened to live in District 3. Otherwise, it feels like we're kind of, this is not as negative as it implies for whoever is selected, so please don't take it that way. We're sort of foisting somebody on them. The legislative process is unwieldy and awkward, but at least there are some people from that district who are voting. So this is nothing against any candidate or anything. It's just my personal thoughts. I think the mayor heard me chatting about it. When Councilman Nowakowski heard me chatting about it, he said, maybe we could incorporate the villages or something like that, so that it isn't us. Maybe other council members don't feel this way, but it's just something that I'd like to have it discussed at a future council meeting, if it's possible for us to affect any kind of change. So thank you for the time. I appreciate it, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman Waring, for your thoughts on the process. We don't want to get off on too much of a debate on that. I feel like, and I don't think it was a reflection on the quality of these candidates, because I think we can all agree that there are 9 outstanding leaders who have applied for this position. We read their written materials, we saw the resumes, we heard their verbal reports here today. There are any number of these individuals who would do an incredible job representing the people of District 3 and do a very good job staying in the footsteps of former Councilmember Gates, who did do an outstanding job representing the people of District 3. People have committed their lives to service of the citizens of Phoenix. So I do believe that the current process has led to an incredible crop of top people, leaders, people that we've all worked very, very closely with, and we're blessed that people of this quality have chosen to apply for this position. So I mentioned the process would be we'd have the applicants give a chance to address us, the community a chance to speak to us about who they would like for the position, and now I'll ask a council member if they have a particular motion under our rules. The motion does not need a second, as I understand it, under the unique rules of appointment to the city council.
That's correct, Mayor. A nomination of any person does not need a second.
All right, thank you. Councilman Williams, do you have a motion on this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I absolutely agree. We have outstanding and very impressive candidates for this. I've gone through this process many times, and we have been very fortunate as a city to always have applicants that have the experience, the knowledge, and the willingness to take on this job, because it's not always as fun as it appears sometimes. I'm going to nominate Deborah Stark because I have known Deborah for many years. I have worked with her. She has been embroiled in many controversies, always was able to listen to both sides, find a compromise. She also has the advantage of inside knowledge of how the city works. And I think that's very important, because it's a long learning curve if you haven't been in. It's not easy to make the connections, to learn the people involved, and so therefore I nominate her.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman Williams. Again, under the unique rules of a council appointment, there is no need for a second, but I will turn to members of the council that have any comments on the motion made by Councilmember Williams. Again, I just want to thank every single person that put in the time and effort to apply for this very important position. It ain't easy. This is an incredibly difficult decision. I'll speak for every council member because of the incredible qualities, individuals, people who have served this community on important boards and commissions, served in the military, serving Americans, keeping us safe. We have people that have worked for the city. We have people that work for the mayor's office at one time or another who have applied for this very important position. All of you who are incredibly committed to this city, the betterment of this city, and just owe you all a huge debt of gratitude for taking the time to apply for this position. I know each of these people, and I know each of you are going to continue to serve the citizens of the city in a leadership capacity, regardless of what happens with the present vote. Any other council members have comments? Roll call.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams. Gallego.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So by a vote of 6-1, this council has selected Deborah Stark to serve as the interim council member representing District 3. Again, thanks everyone for applying. We'll now immediately go to the mayor's office and have a swearing-in ceremony.